What's up, everyone? I'm out on this awesome little panfish lake fishing, and I actually reviewed the footage from my Red Lake trip a few days ago. I completely forgot to do an intro for this. This video is just tips, tricks, and mistakes for guys going up to Red. I actually worked on Red 3 winters ago as a guide slash outfitter worker, moving around houses, helping people catch fish, working on generators, stuff like that. So learned a lot about the lake, about how it fishes, saw all kinds of different people up there fishing. Everyone made mistakes. A lot of people didn't really know what they were doing, but I'm gonna go over that today in this video right here. It's real quick, it's nothing extreme. It's kind of a lot of basic stuff that a lot of people know, but I think it will help a lot of guys that are going up there to fish. I also throw in some lures and colors things in there. As far as that goes, keep it really simple. Use some of the colors that I go over in the video. As far as different styles and stuff, keep it simple. You get on the fish, that's the main thing. You will catch fish. Anyways, here it is right here. Let's get right into it. Tip 1 is not playing with the fish enough. Guys will sit there and try and drop it down. I'm always trying to stay a foot above that fish. And that's with almost any species, but walleyes especially, and especially at Red, they are so aggressive. They want to come up and nail that thing. And especially now I got a ripping wrap, so a lure with no scent. I don't have a minnow head on this. This is just a hard bait. You don't want that thing just sitting there still right in front of their face, because I mean, they can tell it's not real if you're just sitting there holding in front of them, and it's not natural. If they don't want to come up and hit it, your dead stick hopefully will get them. But even if your dead stick doesn't, a lot of times if I see this fish is coming in and he's kind of going away, if this fish ends up not biting, one thing I'll do is just switch to something like a spoon, a slender spoon, or like this is a little flyer spoon. Switch to something, 1 with scent on it, the minnow head, and 2 is just a little bit more subtle. Doesn't have the rattles. It's just a little bit less aggressive lure. And a lot of times that fish, you've already brought them in, they'll be around this area, you know, checking out your bait, checking out the minnow. A lot of times you throw down something completely new, and maybe you have to change lures 3-4 times. A lot of times you'll throw it down, especially here, boom, you'll just get hit. This might be a perfect example of this. This fish is in here, and he's clearly interested in this ripping wrap. He's not firing up on it at all, though. He's literally just staying right on the bottom. So first thing I'll do is I'll go like quite a bit higher, like 3-4 feet above him. Nothing, he doesn't want it. I'm gonna go with, since he's down there, I'm just gonna go with whatever I got out, which is just this, I don't know, Lindy flyer spoon. Also just a really good bait out here. Alright, well, that one didn't bite, I mean, I thought he was biting. Oh, he's still up there. That is the most perfect example you could get. That is literally exactly what I'm talking about. That fish was just sitting down there. He came into the rip and wrap, but then didn't want to take it. Switched lures, and right away, I mean, you saw he just came firing up. Didn't hit it, fired up again, didn't hit it. Third time, fires up and drills it. That's the importance of, a lot of people don't like switching. A lot of people do, and that's kind of, you got to find the in-between of where you're not switching too much, but you're switching enough that you're not missing fish that want to eat. They just don't want to eat exactly what you have down there. Mistake number 2 is placement of the bait to the bottom. And I'm sure we've all heard this before, but you'd be surprised how much I saw when I was out there running these houses. I would see guys all the time have a flasher down. It's another thing is guys would run a flasher on their rattle reels and not even be watching it and just burn through the battery in a flasher, which kind of doesn't make much sense, especially on a rattle reel. If you get a fish, you're gonna hear it. But I would see a mark, I'd look at the flasher on the rattle reel, see a mark like a foot and a half off bottom. I'm like, oh, nice. I don't have to mess with these guys. These guys know where they need them to be. Because that's kind of part of the job. You go around and you just give little tips and stuff to guys just to help them catch more fish. Because you want the clients to catch as many fish, obviously, as possible. And lots of times on your rattle reels and dead sticks, it's good practice every once in a while to just jig them, get that minnow moving, make sure they're lively. A lot of times I'd go to jig that, and that mark that I thought was the minnow a foot off the bottom would come up, and then another mark would come right off the bottom. Those guys would be laying their minnow on the bottom. Not saying you're not going to catch fish doing that, but you are not going to catch many doing it. Especially since they're not bottom feeders where they come and feed off the bottom. They will at times, but they want that bait up above them so they can come up and get it. And laying it on the bottom is not good. One, for when they're around, they're not going to want it as much. If they're super fired up, yeah, you're going to catch fish. But 2, just for seeing, if the fish are cruising and say they're 20, 50 feet away, they're not going to see a minnow laying on the bottom underneath you. They're not going to see that unless it's moving and kicking up a bunch of mud. But if you have it 2-3 feet up off the bottom, they're going to see that minnow moving around, and they're going to be much more likely to come over, check things out, and catch, and you're going to have a better chance of catching fish. I start every walleye trip almost everywhere, almost any lake probably, with one of these bad boys on. Because even if fish aren't going to bite them, you're going to mark them, because a lot of times they come in just to check out what's going on. They'll hit your dead stick, or you can quick change up to something else if you need to and pound them. But this is a really good way to attract them in. As far as colors, the UV colors I absolutely love. UV pink, UV green, those work almost everywhere. Great one here on red, great on Mille Lacs, great on Lake of the Woods. Another one that's really good is this glow perch. That's a great one here, and also Mille Lacs. Mille Lacs in here have a lot of similarities color-wise. But I mean, all of them work. I mean, you see I got all these. I've caught fish on every single one of these here. Just depends on the time and what they want. But those UV pink, green, and orange too. I don't have an orange in there, but UV orange works really well too. That will carry over with your spoons too. For your spoons, I love slender spoons. So that's what I get. I mean, there are different brands, but the style is basically the same. So I just stick with these. I don't go too crazy with getting a bunch of lures. As you can see, I have this box, that box, a couple other boxes, but these are my main ones. Slender spoons, great. You get that flutter and flash. When you have a really sunny day, I've found these hammered ones, this big hammered gold one. I don't use spoons this size very often, but this one in particular on red when it's really sunny and bright and it's a slow bite, getting that thing and jerking it up and letting it flutter all over really gets the fish fired up at times. They can see that flash from a long ways away and it will bring them in, just like the Rip and Wrap does. As far as these colors here, you know, about the same, like greens, pinks, golds. I have a hammered bronze one down here too. I really like hammered ones compared to these ones. I feel like these hammered colors, for whatever reason, it looks more like a fish, I think, and they really seem to do well in a lot of places. Then your other style, your heavy jigging ones, which are either have rattles or don't have rattles, and they have different blades and stuff. There's tons of different styles, you know, but you kind of have to find what they want. Maybe they want the rattle, but they don't want the Rip and Wrap hard bait type. Maybe they just want the flash and the flutter of the spoon, or maybe they're really aggressive and they want the rattle on the Rip and Wrap, and the Rip and Wrap the aggressive bait, minnow style bait. So that was kind of just a quick tip just to get you guys started. If you don't have no idea what to use, those UV colors, bright pinks, bright greens, red is a really good one. I know a lot of people do really good on red, like flyer spoons or buckshots, or there's so many different brands and they all have their own style, but basically they're all the same. So the last one are jigs. Just a jig with a minnow and just jigging it slowly works really well too. I don't do that too much. I probably should. I've heard good things about like glass jigs, glow jigs, stuff like that. So that might be something to also try out. But that's what I have for tips on lures and colors. It's just something to get you started, not really in depth. So let's get on to the next fish. Alright, so my main mistake I see is when I see people come out here, I see them go out of the launch, it doesn't even matter what launch they go out of, and they see the big city of people and they go right to them for some reason. That is exactly what you do not want to do on this lake. People think a bunch of houses are together, so they must be catching fish, but that's not how it works. The guy that I worked for in my service, what we would do, there was no special spots, there's no secret spots here. Yeah, there's center bar, which has structure, but we really didn't even go to center bar that often. I think we went there for one part of the year. The main part was just we kept moving out away from the crowd, out away from the crowd, out away from the crowd, and that's when we would find fish. You stay in somewhere too long, these big cities pile up around you, and then the bite goes dead in a couple days. We just move out a few miles away from the crowd and we find new fish. So if you are coming out here, go find your own spot. Go find where no one else is. Let me show you this. But for me, I'm out here during the week too, so it's not as big a deal. But look at this. Here's me. There's some people over there. Some people over there. Not many. Nothing out around me. Nothing. These big cities get accumulated, and yeah, you can catch fish in the big city if the school goes underneath there, but usually they're avoiding that sound. They don't like being around that stuff. So get out on your own. Find your own school. That is my main tip for you. It'll help you out a lot. You might have to move a few times to find that school, but you can also sit in one spot and just wait for the school to come through. So that's the main tip. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Like, subscribe, do whatever the heck you want. I'll see you guys when we're catching some panfish.